and we are recording. And just so you know, what you do share on this call will remain confidential. This recording is for internal purposes. My voice cannot be recorded. Check my microphone. Hold on a second. I'm just going to check this. Test mic. My voice, I don't know why my voice can't be recorded. Okay, screen went dark. You can still hear. Thanks. Okay. All right. Well, we are going to go ahead. Okay. So the screen went dark. You can still hear. Okay, Adeline, how about now? I'm going to go ahead and share the screen again. And let me know if you can see the screen. Okay. Chat. I'm going to pull up the chat. Adeline, can you see the screen now? Still dark. Okay. And check now. Jill, how about you? Okay, great. Hey, Shamiko, welcome. Welcome. All right, so just checking in to make sure everyone can see okay. You're back. Jill is back. Okay, great. Well, I have built in a little bit of time for technical errors because they're bound to happen. Welcome, Jackie Nagy. Fantastic. Okay. All right, so I think Adeline's coming back in. Okay, so let's get going, everyone. Good now. Great, Adeline. Fantastic. All right, so today we are going to be talking about thriving in a chaotic world. And what does that really mean? Well, there's a particular system, a navigational tool that was discovered in a particular way, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So for our 2 hours together, I've broken it into 2 parts. And we will be taking a very brief bio break in the middle so people can grab a cup of coffee or whatever they need to do. So the first part 1 is why me? Why am I offering this information? Why am I so passionate? Who am I to be doing this, and what qualifies me? And then why you? Why are you here? What has brought you to this moment of community in this particular time, and where you're from and what you're seeking? So we'll be doing some introductions and sharing. And I'll be talking about the origins of the Philosopher's Compass and where this all came from. And then an illustration of how it is to be in the world right now, which is basically heaven or hell. So if you, I do have a question. Has everyone printed out your worksheets? And if you haven't, scroll up to the top of the chat box and go to that link, and those are the 2 sheets we'll be working with, because we'll be working with this concept of heaven or hell. Very, very delightful, isn't it? Then we'll take a quick break, and part 2 we'll be diving into the compass and why it's called an IPS. It's an inner positioning system. And parts of the compass include the 4 realms. And then we'll be talking about how to make it your own so that when you leave here today, you have everything you need to use this tool. And then some opportunities to continue on if you're interested in working in the compass in community. If you want access to work with me individually, I am forming up a 10-week program. And so we'll be talking about that. And then the very final thing we're going to be doing is called the key, because in order to work with the compass, we have to go through a series of short meditation exercises, and we create the key, which is kind of like the secret handshake to get into the Philosopher's Compass. And as we go, if you have any questions, I will be monitoring the chat box and questions. And I also want to share with you that we do have a guest with us today. Her name is Christine Hoyt, and she has been working with the Compass, and she's going to share a little bit about that with you. So, who am I? So on the left, I've kind of put for you my resume, right? All the things that I've accomplished, all the things that I'm perceived publicly in the world. And then on the right, I've put all the reasons why I'm with you today and why we're on this journey together. So I have sung internationally, I teach internationally. I've graduated from the world of marketing, consulting, and strategy and communications into the realm of self-empowerment, spirituality, and transformation. So I am also an award winner for music and business. Let's see, Jackie. Yes, it's being recorded. We may be having trouble with the recording, so hopefully it's working. But I know you're hoping to come next Friday as well, and I will record subsequent webinars. So thanks for that note, Jackie. So going back to award winning, yes, I've won awards. I've been acknowledged by my peers as being excellent in what I do, and I bring that excellence to everything that I do, including being with you guys today. If you look at my resume, I've had a very successful career. I won't list all the things that I've accomplished, but so many people mark themselves happy or fulfilled by their accomplishments and then come to find it's an empty promise, right? I found that to be really true. At the pinnacle of my career, I actually left on mental disability with depression. So let's talk about the reality of what makes us happy and what doesn't. I'm a wife, I'm a mom, I'm a sibling, I'm a friend, I'm a teacher, speaker, mentor, I'm an ordained minister. And I work and play in the realms of energy and sound to bring beauty and healing to people. So that's kind of the quote unquote qualifications. On the right hand side, I'm with you on this journey because I have been tested by the fires of transformation. I've had heartbreak. I've had serious physical illnesses. I've had a lot of financial challenges. I've had career challenges. I've had depression. I've had divorce. So on the next slide, I just want to share with you a little bit of a snapshot of the totality that makes me me. And we have the performance on stage. I'm regularly riding around our 100 acres in the Adirondack Mountains, either on a quad or hiking or snowmobiling. And a few years ago, I catastrophically ripped my Achilles tendon. And about 2.5 years ago, everything that we owned collectively as a family and 2 businesses burned in a historic catastrophic fire. So when I say I've been tested by the fires of transformation, I truly, truly have. So from this place, I have become very passionate, very, very passionate about supporting others in finding fulfillment, finding peace, finding a life that truly makes you happy. And part of that for me has meant moving from Albany, New York to the mountains, leaving a 3,500 square foot home for a 700 square foot home, and trading all of that for 100 acres deep in the mountains. And I'll just give you a sneak peek right there. That's my property, and it's really quite extraordinary. So let's talk a little bit about the origins of the Philosopher's Compass, this amazing navigational tool that we'll be working with today. It just so happens that in 1858, many of you have probably heard about the American Transcendentalists, and they were a group of philosophers and poets, theologians, scientists. They were thought leaders of their time who really had an ideal view of the world, and it centered a lot around harmony in nature. Um, Things like sovereignty, cooperation, respect, self-reliance, autonomy. And the movement swept to Europe, and you might recognize names like Ralph Waldo Emerson, Henry David Thoreau, William Stillman, who founded the very first artistic journal in the United States, Walt Whitman. These are some of the most famous names. And then we have the Alcotts. We have Bronson and Louisa May in Massachusetts. So around where I lived, it turns out that deep in the Adirondack Mountains in 1858, which is exactly was 160 years ago last year, a group of these transcendentalists went deep into the mountains to spend time together, to cross-pollinate ideas, to be in harmony with nature, to make self-discoveries, to make scientific discoveries. And it just turns out that I happened to have camped at this location several times in my life and without ever making the connection. And when I moved to the Adirondacks a few years ago, I began to feel a lot of the energies that I just expressed to you, a lot of these words, sovereignty, cooperation. And I subsequently learned about the Philosophers Camp. It never happened again. In 1858, 10 transcendentalists spent an entire month in the Adirondacks. And then the Civil War came to the United States. And their dreams of starting a community, their dreams of going back every year and buying this land really washed up. Well, not anymore. Last year, I resurrected the energy of the Philosophers Camp on our mountain land, and 8 people from 3 different countries came to be part of this wonderful experience. And in this picture, you'll see Ben Joya, who is a thought leader from San Francisco, Pat Duckworth, who's a menopause specialist from London. And also, she's a specialist in helping women in their midlives find their entrepreneurial mojo. And then we have author and inspirational speaker Daniel Gutierrez, who is coming out with his 4th book soon called Radical Mindfulness. So this was an incredible event where thought leaders all came together for 5 days and 4 nights to be on the mountain, to cross-pollinate ideas, to be in harmony with nature, to be together. And this is called the Philosophers Camp. And so this is an advanced program that is available for actually anyone who knows the compass, and for thought leaders and for seekers, those who are consciously contributing to the upliftment of humanity. And I can tell you that all of you on this webinar today would not be here if you were not conscious, if you were not interested in the upliftment of humanity. And so to me, you are an incredible person. You are valuable to our planet. And I want to just say right now how grateful I am that you're with us. So this is a little bit of the origins. And what you're seeing in this picture is the teaching of the compass for the very first time. And it's from this place that the compass is now expanding out into the world. And it's an incredible tool. And it's, well, you'll be hearing more about it from others. I can go on and on about it because it's really permeated me and who I am. And I no longer can separate myself from the compass. It is the lens through which I look at my life. And so it's my joy to share that with you today. So right now, what I'd love to do, we have a nice small group, is I'd love to open up the microphones, and I'd like to hear from each of you, if you're willing, which would be great, your name and where you're from and why you've joined us today. If you know, you may not even know, and what is it that you are seeking. So I'm going to flip over to the participants. And Jackie, since you need to head off soon, would you be willing to share your thoughts and just let me know and chat something in the box, and I'll promote you to panelists so that you can speak. Hey, Jackie. And I'm going to unmute. Jackie, I'm going to unmute you. Are you available to share with us right now?
I believe so. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Lovely. Thank you. Wow. I am here, as Christine, you and I know each other personally. And I was gifted, for those of you listening, by Christine, a recording, a customized recording that symbolizes the connection we have together and who I am, and it's your voice, and so it's exquisite. So receiving that and knowing who you are and how talented and wonderful you are. So I know I'm going on, but I'm here because of you. I really am here, and for me, I love the concept of the philosopher's compass. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Yes, so I'm from Winnipeg, and so I'm from Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. The photograph on the screen I resonate with. My country where I live is very similar. I like, and I'm curious to learn more about the concept of this compass being a guide. It really resonates deeply with me, and I'm so looking forward to learning from you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay. So, Jill, would you be available to share with us? Let's see. Looks like it's funny. I keep seeing people going in and out, wondering if they're having troubles with connections. Yeah. Okay. Adeline, let's work with you. Are you available? Oh, no. Jill just got moved to panelist. That's why. All right, Jill, I've unmuted you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Jill.
Okay.
Welcome.
I clicked on to start chat to tell you I was okay to talk, and then I lost my screen here.
Okay. We're learning the technology together.
Yeah, I received the invitation from you, and it seemed really interesting. So I'm here to learn, and yeah, I'm excited to participate today.
Yeah. Is there a particular outcome that you would love? If there's one thing that you could handle, what would that be?
I mean, I definitely am in a place of, I would call it self growth. So anything that contributes to that in a positive direction, I'm open for.
Fantastic. Thank you. And Jill, where are you joining us from?
I'm just down the road from you, also in the Adirondack Mountains, and I'm more at the base of the mountain. So you have a higher, prettier view than I do.
Indeed we do. Indeed we do. Well, thank you so much for coming on. I know it takes courage to speak with a group. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Christine.
Okay. All right, Adeline, you willing to share with us? Let's see. Okay, more. I'm gonna so I've unmuted you. There you go. Oh, okay. So Adeline says, I'm in a public place. I will be texting. Jackie is my mentor, and I know that she wishes the very best for everyone. When she invited me to this webinar on how to thrive in a chaotic world, I signed up. Perfect. All right. Thanks, Adeline. And I know we had, I just got a text from another participant who had to drop off. So I think we are good, and let's get going. So, all right. So what you're seeing here on the screen is indeed the very first Philosopher's Compass in manifestation on the planet. And this is going to be very important for later. I want to point out to you the tall rock that kind of stands in the middle of the screen, jutting out from the compass. That is actually in the north. And you actually enter the compass in the north. And there are 4 realms in the compass if you have your worksheet out. And so we'll be going through them a little bit later, but that's a beautiful picture. So why are we all together today? We are all together today. Hold on just a second. Chris, can you support me? For some reason, my laptop is saying it's not getting any power and the battery is running low, which is not sure that's turned on. Sorry, guys. I'm just going to make sure that my laptop doesn't run out of power. Why we're having all these technical glitches. Hold on, I'm just going to make sure that it's not getting power. Can you make sure it's plugged in the back? Really? Okay. All right. Well, I do not want to lose you guys. So I'm going to have to take a moment and sorry about this. This is unbelievable. But wherever my laptop is plugged actually, does it plug in this way? No, I'm gonna move my laptop. Now let's move the whole table. Believe it or not, we're moving a conference table for 10 people. We're talking about poison and exactly what we're experiencing in this moment. We have the conference, so the conference table is now sitting in front of the refrigerator. Over by we should take a picture of this so everybody can see. Oh, guess what? My battery is now charging, so we're good to go. Oh my gosh. All right, so why are we together? We're seeking poise in a chaotic world. Presence and personal power. So what I want to share with you has to do with, to me, a profound lesson that I learned in the last year related to this exactly. And for many of us, it has become very chaotic politically. With our climate change, it's become chaotic to us in our lives because we're bombarded with technology. We're bombarded all the time. Where do we have time for respite? Where do we have time for rejuvenation? Where do we unplug? So we're getting really an overload and everything is accelerating. So not only do we have all this information coming at us, and a lot of it, frankly, is very unsettling, but it just never stops. And things are going faster and faster and faster. So about a year ago, almost to this day, I had the opportunity to be in India, which is a mecca for many, many, many spiritual people on this planet. And when I was there, I can tell you that my experience was profound. And what I want to do right now is I want to just break out and I want to show you a little bit of what So back to me. India, boy, I was in Varanasi, and it's considered one of the holiest cities in the world. On paper, there's about 5 million people that live there. I can tell you from talking with people and having been there, it feels like 20 million. So many of the Indians, well, there's no really such thing as a census or documentation or no documentation. And I cannot describe for you the profound assault on your senses from the air pollution that burns your nose. You can't even see the blue sky. Everything is perpetually white. Like a clear day in India, in Varanasi, is white. To the smells. To give you an example of how their garbage system works, everyone just throws everything in the street, literally. I'm not kidding. And then the cows come and they eat it all, and then they poop, and then the people take the poop and then they dry it out and they use it for art or to heat their homes in the winter. So that's their way of garbage and recycling. And the senses are overloaded, and not in a pleasant way all the time. In our hotel room, which was considered the best in Varanasi, we had mushrooms of all kinds growing in our shower. Of course, you can't go anywhere near the water. And in fact, I got violently ill from my time in India, and it's still with me, and it's actually changed my body's composition permanently, which is pretty profound. There came a point in time where about 3 days in, I had a fundamental choice because I freaked the F out. I'm just going to be really honest with you. I couldn't take the people. I couldn't take the smells. I couldn't take the trash. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't. And I was looking at my husband saying, I need to get on a plane. I need to go home. And instead, I just sat down, I stilled myself, and I started breathing. And maybe it was grace, I don't know. But in that moment, I realized that the true gift of Varanasi, India, is that there is no separation between you and reality. There's no separation between you and experience. And when I looked from my Western eyes with my judgments about what it meant to be clean, what it meant to be healthy, what it meant to be okay, it was hell. I was in hell. And then by shifting to a place of gratitude, my awareness and consciousness moved to my heart. And with that simple, no more than a flash, no more than a snap of the fingers, I went from hell to heaven. The rest of my time in India was a profound experience of bliss. And I did get violently ill. I was ill when I was there. I was ill on the plane home. I was ill 6 months later. And as I said to you, my body will always be carrying the effects of that illness with me. It was still heaven. It is still heaven, and I miss it. There is a freedom. There is a joy. There is, I'm going to show you in another example of this. I'm going to share my screen again. What we perceive as total cacophony, right? So this concept of horror, right? And the streets never stop. The only time it's quiet is about 3 a.m. till sunrise, when the bells start going off on the Ganga, which is incredible. It's really something to experience. But unlike a place like New York City, where you hear horns and it's like angry, right? There's this energy with it. In India, it's just communication. And what I realized there was this amazing dance going on, an incredible dance. And it was like a school of fish. And it wasn't cacophony. It was just a dance that I had never participated in, and I didn't have the reference point for it. And I was coming from a place of judgment. But when I came from a place in my heart, everything changed. Everything. And so before we work with the compass, what I want to share with you is that when we work with what is, right, and we don't fight it, I love this definition or this saying that, pain in life is something that happens, but suffering is optional. And suffering is when we fight what is. And when we accept things as they are, with a place of gratitude for what we have in that moment, then anything can be heaven. I remember the story of a photographer who happened to be in New York City at the time of the bombing of 9/11. And he was there for the buildings collapsing. And he stayed because he documented what was happening. And he had a profound shift the way I did in India. And it went from hell to heaven because what he saw were the first responders as angels. And he saw the best of humanity rise after the worst of humanity. And so one of the biggest tools that I want to give to you today to take away about thriving in a chaotic world is this concept of shifting from a place of judgment in our head to a place of fighting what is and going and moving and living from a space of the heart and gratitude. There are gifts in every experience. When you lose everything you own in a fire, we would say that that's a gift in really, really strange wrapping paper. When someone has cancer or someone dies or we go through a divorce or we see the political strife or we see yet another climate report, yes, those things are very important and they can consume us and drag us down. And so the philosopher's compass is a system, it's a structure that you can sink into to have the tools to navigate anything, so that your hell can become heaven. So that instead of suffering with what you're fighting, you accept what is and you come and you begin to take action. And you do what you can do. And sometimes doing what you can do is simply being who you are and standing in your truth, standing in your power, shining like a beacon. Sometimes that's all that it is. I want to invite you guys, if you have any comments, any thoughts, go ahead and share. And right now is your first sneak peek at the compass. So what I'd like to do is very shortly, I see, what time is it? So it's 12:40, perfect timing. We're literally going to take a 5-minute bio break, grab a cup of coffee, and come join us, and we'll be back in just a few minutes. and I want to thank her for that. We are going to dive now into the compass. So if you have your worksheets handy, get those out because this is very interactive. If you have questions, please put them in the chat. And let's get going. Let's get into the meat of it. The compass. Here we go. I'm going to share my screen. What you're seeing is the East Realm, and I wanted to give you that eye candy as we were going. All right, so the compass. The way I think about the compass is that we all are familiar with the concept of a GPS, right? And what's interesting to me is when I think of GPS, I actually forgot what it meant. And I had to go look it up, right? So what a GPS actually is it's a global positioning system where the technology works that the GPS unit will send out a signal to a satellite, which will then ping back to the system and tell it its current status and where it is. What's fantastic about the compass is that this is an inner positioning system. And I happen to be an external processor. And what that means is, first of all, I talk too much. And Jackie and a few people on this call may be able to attest to that. But what it means in a lot of its essence is that the way I process things, situations, challenges, is I like to talk about it with someone else. And so that's an external situation where they're reflecting back to me. And often I don't even need them to say anything to me. I just need to externalize it and then it comes back and my brain works with it. What I love, one of the qualities I love about the compass is that with this system, you're pinging the compass and it's reflecting back to you, but it's still an internal process. So it's an external and internal process, which makes it very unique in my world. And it is a structure that you can grow with, that you can see the world through, and that it has layer upon layer upon layer. And today we're going to be touching on the basics, and in the advanced programs are where we do more stuff, but your mind would blow if we did all that today. So the first thing to talk about is that in many ways this is a new medicine wheel for humanity. It is a navigation tool. It's like the North Star. You can always rely on it to help you find your way. So there are 4 realms. And you can see with the dotted line, what I want you to do now is I want you to put on your paper in the upper right-hand quadrant is the East. And then in the southeast, or the lower right, we have the South. The lower left, we have the West. And the upper left is the North. So that's very similar to a medicine wheel that some of you may be familiar with. Now, what's really interesting is that we move around this compass as in each realm. So there's 4 realms. The East, South, West, and North are all realms. And we have a movement for each one. And if you look on the outer rim, it's how we move. You can see that in beautiful script. So the very first realm is the naturalist. So put that in the upper right, realm of the naturalist. And this is the domain of our spirit. And it belongs to the season of spring. This is where we begin our walk. We talk about walking the compass, and then we talk about living the compass. So the action in this first realm of the East is indeed walking. And for each of these categories, there are 3 essential qualities that we can cultivate to embody what it means to be a naturalist. So for me, what I want to share with you is, here we are, we're in the upper right-hand quadrant. This is the realm of nature, of the forest, of the mountains, of the ocean, right? It's nature. And because I live in the mountains, for me, it is my mountain. It's naturally where I go. It's the place where Henry David Thoreau lived, right? It's the place where we come to find ourselves through the eternal nature of the forest. When we're in the forest, we have the beginnings of the glimmer of spirit through the perfection, the constant decay and rebirth. So let me talk to you about the essential qualities. The very first essential quality for this realm is renewal. So put that under here, under essential qualities, number 1, renewal. We go to the woods, we go to the ocean, we go to nature to renew ourselves, to rejuvenate. There was just a National Geographic article on forest bathing, right? So this is nothing new to us, but we've become radically disconnected from our nature because we're radically disconnected from nature. So quality number 2 is the quality of curiosity. When we're in nature, we see things in a different way. Our perspective changes. And it's here that we look with fresh eyes and we begin to ask questions and our minds begin to open. And so in this first realm, it often reflects the beginning of the spiritual journey. When we begin to ask those questions, is this all there is? Is this success? Am I supposed to be fulfilled now? Right? So we bring an openness and a curiosity to this realm. And then what that naturally leads us to is the third quality. When we begin to ask questions and we get answers, those answers don't fit our current life. So how do we reconcile that? Well, we die a little death. So the third essential quality in this realm of the naturalist is making friends with death. And we see this in nature, the constant death, decay, renewal. We see the perfection of the fractals in the ferns, the concentric rings in the trees, the geometry of nature, the perfection, the math, the universe in nature. And as we begin our spiritual journey, we're constantly dying and being reborn because we're asking those questions and our life no longer fits. So if you're not friends with death, you're either going to cut your journey short or it's going to be very painful. And this is where I like to bring in the imagery of the phoenix. And in many ways, the phoenix is the perfect mythical symbol for this realm. Now, what I want to share with you next is my interpretation. And part of what I'm going to encourage you to do as we go through this is to make all kinds of notes, little things that come to your mind. When I think of the realm of the East, the realm of the naturalist, where my spirit awakens, I think of this, waking in the East. with this playful energy, this beautiful forest ethereal energy. And we begin to work with the nature of ourselves. And so from there, with this energy of play and easygoing spirit, we then turn to the south. So let's go over and fill in our 3 lines. The south is the realm of the muse. The muse. And many of us know that the muse is really creativity, the embodiment of the goddess energy. To me, the muse is a feminine goddess energy of creativity. It's the domain of our bodies, and it belongs to the spirit, to the season of summer. And so after we've spent time in the forest with the naturalist, we graduate with this inner child energy and this creativity, right? And we're starting to bounce around, right? And it's very much in the now. And it's not really well thought through. It's kind of, I use the word tempered and untempered. These are untempered creations. We're flexing our creative muscles. We're beginning to feel our power, right? And so we're stretching and leaping and expressing, but not with a tremendous amount of thought. The movement for this realm, which you can put on this outer ring here, is dancing. We dance through this realm. We're dancing with our power. We're dancing with our creativity. We're dancing with our inner child. And so let's move to the 3 essential qualities. The first one is a childlike heart. For many of us, by the time we've gotten to be adults, our hearts are really closed. And it makes perfect sense. We've had heartbreaks, we've had disappointments, we've had pain in our lives. And so we come to this realm after having been in nature with an open heart, childlike heart. The second essential quality is our power, right? This raw, unbridled, exploring, spelunker, expedition type energy. It's playful. And we're creating for ourselves. We're creating to explore who we are. And so this leads us to the third essential quality, which is, what are we going to do with all this creation? Well, we're going to learn to master our emotions. And by mastering our emotions, we begin to make sense of and apply discernment to our creation. And we begin to understand that power for power's sake needs to be tempered and used judiciously. And so the third essential quality is beginning to bring some maturity to this realm. So the next slide I'm going to share with you is my interpretation of the South. And I've given each realm, I've given a custom name. And this one I call Southern Exposure. And this is exactly what I see. And it's a volcano that's just spewing a lot of fire, a lot of fire. It's not the smoke for me, it's the fire. And the color is red. And it's so, 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 so powerful. But power, as we know, is not enough. So now we enter into the realm of the West, which is really magical. I just want you to feel the magic right away. And this is the realm of the alchemist. This is the realm where we weave the dream. It's the domain of the heart, and it belongs to autumn, the season of autumn. And we take this creativity and we turn it outward to the world. This is where we create for the world. And we have a sense, because we're in our hearts, we're connected to our hearts, of what is longing to be expressed through us to the world. What is our unique gift? What is our unique voice? What is it that we stand for? What is it we believe in? What is the beauty we want to contribute? What is the power, the message? Who do we want to be? This is a very outward expression. So the movement of this realm is the voice. We're giving voice to the world. We've graduated from the child. We've graduated from the muse. Our creations are tempered, meaning we have discernment. They're more of a qualified energy, if that makes sense. For those of you who may have worked with the Ascended Masters, you'll know that what that means. Qualified. It's coherent. It's contributing. So what are the 3 qualities essential to mastering in this realm? Well, the first one is called magician of transformation. Magician of transformation. And at this point, we've pretty much become a professional phoenix. We don't freak out every time we go through a little rebirth and in our own lives. We are very comfortable with this cycle. We recognize it. And we've developed the observer within ourselves, an aspect of our consciousness that can hold and watch the rest of us, the personality, the body, go through these transformations. So we've become a magician, and we can do this at will. It's very powerful. Now, in order to make our creations in the world coherent and of a contributing high vibration, this is where we really purify our personalities. So that's the second essential quality, a purified personality. Another way to think about it is cultivating humility, service. We're not doing it for ourselves. We're not voicing things for ourselves and our own pleasure anymore. In a phase of exploration, we're contributing to the world. And so to do this most effectively, this walks us right into our third essential quality, which is creating from the heart. So this energy of the West, this ethereal, beautiful, exquisite energy of the West is very magical. And I call it, and I've given this imagery to it, called Western skies. And I just, for me, I can't get away from the energy of Merlin. Or even Gandalf, if you will. But as you're going through this, make notes on anything that arises to you. And what you're seeing in this picture is actually the western ridge of our property. This is facing due west, a little south, and this is our land. And this is the realm of the alchemist. Think about the power of being an alchemist. You take things that are precious and you combine them in alchemical ways, ways that are new and different and fresh, and you create something completely new. Very powerful. And from there, we move from this outward phase back to an inward stance. In the realm of the spiritual warrior, in the north. This is the domain of our mind, and it belongs to winter. And I'm going to skip ahead one slide because this is where I've been living for several months. And this picture is exactly where I've been living. I call it Northern Sanctuary. And for me, Orca is so present. Orca is a guide for me. And in the 10-week program, we'll actually be doing shamanic journeys through each of the realms for you to find a guide in each realm. For me, I've had the good fortune of already doing that work. And so Orca is my companion in the north. And in my meditations, I'm often standing on icebergs and I'm working with Orca. And so I just want to share that with you because that's the energy of the realm. For me, it's cool, it's white, it's gray, it's crystal, it's exquisite. So let's talk about it a little bit more. This is the realm where our action becomes very, very, very powerful. And it's very internal. And it's called covenant. There's an incredible saying, I believe it's Lao Tzu, that says, to know and not to do is not to know. And so this is where we really work with the deepest aspects of ourselves in achieving an incredible amount of maturity and presence. This is the poise, the presence, the power, all put together, tempered, disciplined. And that's our first essential quality, discipline. How different than the energy of the South? We're not just creating. Our essential quality is that we are consciously creating. We are directing our reality. We are manifesting what we wish to see and be. Incredible power with the spiritual warrior. It's a tremendously courageous realm because this is the realm of the Martin Luther Kings of the world, the Gandhis, the Malalas, those who use their voices for the betterment of humanity at any cost. And so the third essential quality speaks to that. The third essential quality is surrender to the divine plan. We become an instrument of service. And so this action of covenant is that we've made a sacred agreement to be these things, to embody these things on this journey around the compass. So let's take a look. I'm pretty sure I put in here, I'm looking for a specific slide, and I don't know what happened to it. I'm going to go find it somewhere else because I really want to show you this. And I'm going to share with you, here it is. So this is the compass of a student who's taken it on. And her key is up here in the left, which we are going to do at the last part of our work today. She's made declarations, and these are covenants that she has made. I will exercise. I will be mindful. In each of the realms, she's made agreements with herself that are incredibly sacred. Okay, Jill, I'm going to come back to you. The second essential quality is conscious creation. So we have discipline. Number 2 is conscious creation. And number 3 is surrender to the divine. Thanks for asking the question. If there's any other questions, feel free to put them right in the chat box. So we have the naturalist, the muse, the alchemist, and the warrior. And when we work with the key later, you can see she's written in the middle, Hara. The center of the compass is what we call the seat of the philosopher. Right here in the upper right. And the seat of the philosopher is the place that I talk about. That is the center of the eye of any storm. That no matter what is going on around you, there's peace. And the perfect example of this in the perfection of nature is a hurricane. There can be gale force winds. There can be destruction all around you. And yet where you are, there's blue sky, birds singing, and calm. And I want to share with you, this is a choice that we make over and over and over again. The way that I made that choice in India, I could have gotten on a plane and come home, and I could be telling the world for the rest of my life how awful India is. That was my choice. And I could have made that my reality if I wished. And in every moment, we have that choice to create consciously what our reality will be. So when we work with the northern gate, we're going to create a key. What I want to share with you is what we'll be doing next is working with the key. You can't work with the compass on its own because if you're thinking about it right now, there's still no reference point to walk it. So what we do is we'll be going through a series of 3 mini meditations, and then I'll be coming up with you to create your very own personal key. And through that key, we enter at the northern gate. And this initiates us into the energy of the compass. And from there, we work with it. And it's not always just, let's go back to the full compass. It's not always just stagnant in one place. So for instance, what I've been really working with profoundly is I'm really powerfully in the realm of the warrior right now, but what's really coming up for me over and over is that third quality in the East of making friends with death. So I'm really aware that there's several qualities activated for me in different realms at the same time. So I'm predominantly in the north, my northern sanctuary. I've been there for months. But what's happening there is a really profound up-leveling. And I can tell you for most of November and December, I was being pulled apart and put together again by spirit. And so working with the quality of making friends with death has been essential for me. And being a master of transformation has been essential for me. And what's happening is my personality is being purified. So I'm in the compass. I don't even know how to explain it. I can't not be in the compass. So right now what I want to do is I want to play for you. We've been working with Pat's compass that you see there, and she was very gracious. She created a little testimonial just for this group, and so I'm going to play it for you now. And just fair warning, it's tied up on her her face in her kitchen. So this is our friend Pat sharing her experience with the compass.
Hi, I'm Pat Duckworth. I'm talking to you from my home here in Cambridgeshire in the UK. And I travelled all the way to the Adirondack Mountains last September so that I could be part of the Philosophers Camp. I knew it was going to be a wonderful experience and that I'd meet some inspirational people. What I hadn't realised was how much it would change my life. And I made a covenant at the Philosophers Camp that I would meditate more, that I would journal every day, and that I would exercise more. And these are all things that I wasn't particularly good at before I was there. And I'm delighted to say that I have kept doing them. Maybe not every single day, but most days. And one of my promises as well was that I would create a vision board of the Philosopher's Camp compass to remind me, so I could put it above my desk as a constant reminder. So just in the background here is my compass. It normally sits over my desk as a constant reminder during the day of what I want to be doing and what will really help me in my life. So if you have an opportunity to be any part of the Philosopher's Camp, grab it with both hands.
So that's my friend Pat. And I also, right now, I want to invite one of our participants today, Christine Hoyt, who has also been working with the compass. And so she's going to share with you her experience, because I'm not the only one having these experiences. And I just think it's so much more valuable for others to share what's going on for them in relation to the compass. So I'm going to promote Christine to panelist. And would you like to share on video? Yeah? Okay. Let's see. All right, you're up.
Hello. Oh, so my experience with the first, I didn't get to introduce myself. I'm Christine Superhoy. Full disclosure, why I'm here, as many have stated, I'm here because I'm in awe of all that Christine brings. And full disclosure, we've been friends forever. We've been friends since we were 15. So, but this compass, I had the incredible experience of being part of an in-person, what we're doing now in the webinar. I had the experience of doing this in person. I stepped into what I call the energy of the compass, and it has been nothing short of a co-creative energy for the past, has it been even a week yet? A week tomorrow. So the compass for me has given me a language. It has given me structure to my lifelong work. By that I mean I've professionally and personally had this really rich life of a phoenix, I often say. But I often struggled with finding a way to, finding language around this, to use this. And when I stepped into the energy of the compass, it literally transmuted, it transformed me. There is, as Christine was saying, I feel like this energy of the compass is now my energy, and we co-create together. Within the first 24 hours, I had a language. I had an outline to now work and to use all my rich experiences in life to then to use for the greater good. I have images. I have a working vocabulary. It was my willingness to step into the compass and my willingness to step into the energy and trust Christine and trust the energy and trust myself. It's been nothing short of transformative and powerful. And every time I step into this, every time I return to the images that I've created using the compass, I find myself. And now I'm struggling. I find myself. Maybe that's it. I find a new level, a layer of myself. See, sometimes the human language, we struggle to find words to give meaning to things that are so much bigger than language can express. And that was it. When I step into this energy, I find myself again. That's been my experience. And I can't wait to see what else I find. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that sharing. And I want to show you guys my compass. Yeah. All right, so let's go back to the screen. So it's been nice to see you guys, and we're going to go back over to the screen. So let's talk next. Let's go in the chat for a minute. Just shoot out even one word, how you find the compass so far. What's your first impression? A phrase, one word, a sentence, anything not clear, anything you want to go back and go over? Okay. Chris was just saying she can't type because she's on her iPhone. She's calling it life force. Co-creative life force. Okay. All right, so you guys do that in the chat and I'll monitor that as we go. So the next phase is how to make this your own and how to work with it. So my goal today is that in a minute I'm going to be sharing with you how you can continue on with the compass in community with me, and you're welcome to join us. But I want to make sure that when we are complete today, you have everything you need to be with the compass and make it a part of your life. So we were kidding around earlier in brainstorming. One of the ways to make it your own is to get a tattoo, which I'm seriously contemplating making it my first tattoo. But I encourage you, here's some things you can do. You can do your own vision board. Make a large board and make it your own. Think about practices and things that you would do for each of the essential qualities. When we do the 10-week program, it's going to be a video program. There will be 10-minute meditations. There will be 12 of them on each essential quality. So you can do your own meditations. You can go find a meditation that reminds you of that quality. I would also really encourage you to do what I do. Give it your own name, like Waking in the East, the Northern Sanctuary, and then go out on the internet and find a photo and then use that visual, tack it to your wall, tack it to your meditation space. Aha moments throughout, Jill. Thank you so much. That's awesome. And so create your own imagery for the realms. The other thing is find your compass, meaning go out and I want to share with you an image that I'm going to go ahead with the slide. So see this image here of the hand and the compass with the little lights? I love that image. Like that's like an image that I'm using, my compass. So you may actually want to go get a compass. You may want to get a compass bracelet. I'm actually wearing right now a compass bracelet from Alex and Ani, along with a phoenix bracelet. I'm not making this stuff up. So yeah, so make it your own. Bring it into your life, because the more you bring it into your life, it's going to work with you. It's going to work for you. So those are some ways that you can take this on and go forward. And think about a way to, what animal would be your guide for each realm? What mythical creature or person? Like for me in the West, it's Merlin. I can't tell you why, it just is, right? And Orca in the North, I can't tell you why, but it's me, it's mine. And so that's going to happen for you, because there are many advanced levels to the compass that we, as I said, we're not going to go over, but this is a living consciousness, and this compass can grow with you, whether you are a beginner or you are a Zen master. This tool expands to wherever you are, and you can do spiral after spiral after spiral. All right, so what we're going to do now actually is we're going to, so the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to create your key to entering the compass, and we're going to also talk about your free meditation gift. But the first thing we're going to talk about is continuing on, and what does that look like? So in the chat box, I'm going to send you a link. Just give me a second to go find it. Here it is. It's got a ridiculously long URL, but I'm going to put it in here. And then I've actually created a page where it's going to list all the options if you want to continue on. And there's 3 main options, and I'm going to go over those now. So go grab that if you're at your laptop or your computer, and you can go pull up this sheet. It's the What's Next with Me 10-week online program. There's 3 different options. There's a base camp that I'm affectionately calling it, Ridge Ascent, and Summit. So the most important thing to know is that at the very minimum, I want to make this curriculum available to as many people as possible. So when I'm complete and marketing this on an everyday basis, it's going to market for $300. And for everybody now, because we're doing this together, it's $97 for the 10-week online video program. The way it's going to work is we're going to begin January 28th, and we're running through April 8th. And every few days there will be a video released, and we already know that we're going to have 12 meditations for each of the 12 essential qualities in 10-minute increments. I promise you they won't be longer than 10 minutes. We're going to do shamanic journeying to find your guides. And I'm going to go into more detail with more teachings about each realm and each essential quality. So the base camp gives you full access to all the course material, including worksheets, all the resources, and all the meditations, and you have access to that for 6 months. The other thing that's really important to me, and it's important for all of us in this world right now, is community. And so we will be creating, actually we already have a private Facebook group just for the people doing the course right now, to come together, share thoughts, share ideas, ask questions, what's your experience, get to know each other. I will be actively in that Facebook group, and we'll have a couple of moderators to answer questions. So that's a great opportunity to be in community and to get to know the compass a lot better. The other thing that this enables for everyone is that this summer in the Adirondacks, there will be the first weekend in August, a specialty Philosophers Camp weekend. It's 2 nights, 3 days, and you have to do this course in order to be invited to come, because we will be walking the compass that weekend. We will be physically walking the compass, we will be graduating, and we will be doing a whole new declaration. So part of this is to create a community for like-minded people to caravan together into our future, into vibrancy, into poise, into power, into our presence, and we're going to do it together. So that's awesome, and I hope every single one of you takes advantage of that. And the next opportunity is the Ridge Ascent, which is all of that. In addition, you'll have lifetime access to the course content. And I will be doing, now this is like, if you really want to be part of the community and you want to have access to more active sharing and access to me, and my role will be to support and mentor and put up the guide, you know, kind of the guardrails to keep you on course, and to do some more powerful work. We will be doing 3 group calls at the beginning, middle, and end of the 10 weeks for everyone who's in Ridge Ascent. And we will have an activation to open the program. We'll be doing meditations for this group live with me, and we'll be doing sharing with each other. So you will have an opportunity. These groups will be no larger than 10, so if we have to do 2 or 3 groups, you know, that's fine. But it's, sorry, we're having, it's important that everyone has the opportunity for really valuable sharing and to have intimacy. So we will have 3 group calls with me where I will facilitate these calls and you can ask all your questions. The other thing that you will have access to is the Compass Council. There is a membership program, monthly program, where there will be calls throughout the year on each essential quality. It's called the Compass Council, and it's $33 a month, and you will be gifted a 3-month membership into that. So to make this, as simple as possible, I've totally knocked the price in like half, and in addition to having a great price, I've made it simple with 3 payments of $167, and there's a very small convenience fee. And so I really encourage you to consider Ridge Ascent as being kind of the middle of the road, excellent way to go. And then for some of you, I acknowledge that you may be in a really difficult place, you may have some significant challenges, and so for the summit, what I've done is I've added 2 individual coaching sessions with me, 45-minute sessions. Now, to have a coaching session with me right now is well over $200, and so you're getting a great deal with that. In addition, I'm giving you my private cell phone and private email, and I will be there for you with unlimited text and email support, because it may just be that right now, when you're doing this webinar, you are in the thick of it and you are having a really big challenge, or you're in the throes of transformation and you want this extra support. And I want to be there to provide that extra support for you. So that is another opportunity, and that's 5 payments of $167 or a flat fee of $797. Now here's the really cool thing. This Philosophers Camp, Mastermind, or any other advanced program that I do, for anyone who wants to do the summit, it's a difference of about, roughly $350. If you do a second advanced program with me, or you want to come to the Philosophers Camp this August, I'm actually refunding your money. So if you pay in full for that and you get all these extra benefits and then you do an advanced program, I'm going to give you a discount of $350 to support you actively in your journey of transformation and your journey to poise, to your presence, and to your own personal power. So what I want to share with you now is, I'm going to put in the chat box, and I'll send you a follow-up email but here's the link, and I'll just walk through the page. So this is my personal image of the compass, and I really do encourage you guys to make it your own and get really creative with it. So if you want to spend 10 more weeks building on the inspiration you have from today and building a life that reflects who you are, really, what you're passionate about and what you want to express to the world, and what makes you happy, how to find this happiness and this vibrancy, then this is for you to continue on. And again, here's some benefits with any of the package. You're getting full access to your inner guidance system. You're being part of our new community, which is forming up and will continue on. And again, exclusive invitations that only graduates of this course are invited to the Walking the Compass retreat in August. And the other thing that I'll be doing both virtually and on site is every season, right? So the next one is spring. I will be doing a day-long rejuvenation retreat called Walking in the East, or Waking the Naturalist, in May. So you can participate remotely or you can participate on site. And one of the other benefits to mention, which I can't believe I forgot to mention, but if you do the summit, you get a ticket. You get a ticket to the Naturalist Awakens in May, and those retreats are going to be $197 for the day. So you're getting a $200 retreat day, you're getting $350 off a future program, and you get 2 personal coaching sessions with me and unlimited email and text support. So those are your options. And I have to tell you, to have access to me this is a really good deal. And I really want this compass to be present, alive, working for you and out in the world. So it's my joy. It is my absolute joy to offer you the opportunity to continue on in community and work with me. So do what's best for you. This is a pure invitation. The last thing to say, and going back to the page, is that this pricing is available for 24 hours only, and here's why. This is and I'm going to give you a little trick about your ego. Whenever you have an opportunity to do transformational work, you're in the flow, you're in the energy of it right now, and it sounds really great. Now's the time to commit to it, because anytime we think and work with an expansive opportunity, it won't be too long before this webinar is over and you put the compass down on a piece of paper. You put your paper down and you say, oh, I'll come back to this later. And your personality kicks in and says, oh, we don't need to do this. I got this handled. So this is a way to encourage you to continue to invest in yourself, to not let your ego kick up and convince you of all the reasons why you don't need to expand, why you don't need to transform, why everything is fine just the way it is. So that's why this pricing is only available for 24 hours. So when you go to this landing page, there's the packages at a glance, which is this sheet. And if you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And I will have a follow-up email, and you can ask me. I'll put in my email there, and you can ask any questions. So here's what you would do. Here's the base camp, which is 97. If you scroll down, if you want to do the Ridge Ascent, there's 2 different options, the 3 payments or the pay in full, and you save $530. And then the Summit is the bottom 2, and it's the same opportunity, 5 payments of $167 or 1 payment at $797, which is a savings of $900. You get the $350 off the Walking the Compass or other program, and you also get the ticket to the day retreat. All right. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat box, but let's get back to our final part, which is really awesome. We are going to create your key. And let me just say before we do that, that I warmly invite you to participate in any way that works for you. It would be my honor to serve you to guide you, to mentor, and to offer what I can from where I sit. And I'm very appreciative of the time you've already invested. And my greatest hope, more than anything, is that the compass serves you and that you go out and thrive. So let's do the final piece of the key. So what I want each of you guys to do now is to put down your pens, and you will need some paper and pen for this. But for now, just put down your pen, close your eyes, maybe take a drink if you have a drink. And we're going to do 3 mini meditations. So let's just, on your own pace, take 3 deep breaths all the way down to your belly, and then exhale through your mouth with as much energy and power as you can. And just feel your body loosen any tension that's built up, any worries you have. And just notice your breath. And we're going to move into a meditative space where I will guide you in some visualizations. And from this, we're going to create your key so that you can actively work with the compass. And the compass can actively work with you. So what I'd like you to do is to imagine that you are in the Adirondacks in 1858. And you happen to be at this site, and it's after dinner. So there's 10 of you, and there's also 10 guides, Adirondack guides. And sitting around the campfire, you see Ralph Waldo Emerson, William Stillman. The fire is crackling, and you're sitting in the periphery of the shadows. And maybe you're a guide on this trip. And all of a sudden, Ralph Waldo Emerson turns around and leans out from the fireside and looks right at you and says, "What do you think?" And he invites you to address the group, to come into the light of the fire, to stand in the center of the circle. And the invitation is for you to share the most important thing on your mind that you think they need to know about the world. What you think the world needs to know. So just sit in this energy, in this visualization, and use your imagination the best you can. And in a few short sentences, what do you say? What is it that the world must know? What is so important to you to share with these amazing luminaries, thought leaders of their time? So now I just want you to write that on your paper. Staying in this state of stillness, of calm, of imagination, and not leaving this state, staying right where you are. Just write down a few key phrases, the essence. And now we're moving on to today. And we've left 1858. We say goodbye to the transcendentalists, and however you use your little time warp or time travel, bring yourself present to today. And you're driving on a highway in the mountains. And you come up over a ridge and you see a billboard. And as you're driving and you get closer, you see one phrase on this billboard. And you can't quite make it out. And you realize as you get closer your eagerness, because it turns out this is a billboard that was gifted to you. And you were given one phrase, and you just can't wait to see it. And you're getting closer and closer. What is the phrase that you chose to put on this billboard for the thousands of people that drive by every day? Write down your phrase. And now we're going to time travel one more time. So whatever you use for your time travel mechanism, we're going to zoom forward to your 108th birthday party. This is a huge celebration. And you are the guest of honor. And many people are standing up to speak about you. And a person gets up, someone that you perhaps haven't even met yet in your life, someone who is yet to come. And they are tasked with sharing the impact you've made and the gift that you are, not just to the family and friends who are present, but also to the world. And without judgment, without crafting anything, without creating anything, just listen to what they have to say. Just close your eyes and listen. And what are they saying about you? What have you contributed? What do you mean to the people in the room? To all the people you've touched in your life? Who do they say you are? And when you're ready, I want you to write down again a few key phrases from what they've said. It doesn't have to be perfect. You don't need to read it or do anything. Just some of the phrases, the highlights. And now, let's bring ourselves present. Bring yourself back to the room where you are and look at your sheet in front of you. And I want you to circle 4, 6, 8, a handful of the words, the phrases that pop out at you as being most important. And use your intuition for this. Let your nervous system guide you. Let the pen in your hand decide what's important, not your brain. Just circle a few where there's an extra energy around them. And from here, you are going to craft your key to the compass. And it's the following sentence. And you're going to construct it by taking those key phrases, and maybe not exactly as they are on the sheet, but they may lead you to another thought or another thought or another thought. And it doesn't have to be perfect, but we want to just capture the essence of the following. I am ... fill in the blank. Who is ... I am who is. It may surprise you. It may feel overwhelming. It may feel too big. It shouldn't feel too small. It should make you slightly uncomfortable. It should make you question whether you really are that. And yet somewhere in your bones, you know it to be true. I am who is. So please put in the chat box if you're ready or if you need more time. Okay. So now, what you have just created is your unique key to working with the compass. Your very first turn, your very first spiral of the compass. And for those of us that have worked with the compass, this key is an embodiment of a quality or an essence that we wish to master, that we wish to embody, that we wish to bring to the world. And this is an important part of becoming that poise, becoming that presence and that personal power, so that no matter what is happening in the world, we are thriving, we are emanating light, we are contributing with our very presence to the upliftment of humanity, our families, our loved ones, our communities, ourselves, most importantly, ourselves. So I am thrilled to welcome you fully to the Philosopher's Compass. And the last thing that I want to share with each of you, in addition to my gratitude, is that for everyone who has participated in this workshop, I am creating a very special meditation, and I'm in it right now because I'm getting all the energies from the students and the participants that are coming on. And it is a creation that will lead you to calm in any storm. And to do that, I've actually used sounds from Hurricane Ophelia, Superstorm Sandy, a wind in a forest from Finland, bird song from Germany. So it's this global energetic creation that will include my voice, my singing voice, music, and sounds from around the world. And it will be, I'm so excited. I'm not sure I've ever created anything like this. So as my thank you to each of you for participating, this will be my gift to you. And I think it'll be done in another probably 3 or 4 days. I've been laying all the tracks and now I'm mixing and playing. And Adeline, I want to read your I am. I am a student seeking the wisdom of the universe who is sharing peace, joy, and connectedness. I am a student seeking the wisdom of the universe who is sharing peace, joy, and connectedness. That's beautiful. It's very beautiful. So with that, we've come to the end of our time. And I'm going to make this easy for you guys. I'm going to put in the chat box my email so that if you want to reach me directly, you can text me and we can talk about next steps for you. I would love your feedback on how you found this experience. I am so grateful for your investment of time. Time is so precious, and I'm very honored that you chose to invest your time here with us today. So I hope that you have found value and that you are understanding and loving and grokking, so to speak, the compass. There's my email. And thank you again. Take care.